Hey guys, how are you? I hope your Wednesday is going great. All right. So, we're going to have a really good conversation today. So, I want to encourage you to share this feed, do some watch parties. We're going to kind of do a deep dive into kind of what's happening right now, and hopefully positioning you and helping you to understand why you moving into wealth education, I think, is pivotal. I don't think it needs to be an option anymore. I think all of us need to be actively participating, learning, putting ourselves in a position to really learn and create. So excited about having you guys on today. Thank you for joining. A little purple light together and stuff. Okay, awesome. Now you scoot over. So yeah, I'm excited you guys are on. We're gonna have a great conversation today. Hi, Queen. How are you? Excited to have you on, beautiful. Hi, Wendy. Hi, Tish. Hi, Evangelist Sauls and Latoya. All right. So let's get into it. Father, we just thank you, Lord, right now for your goodness and your mercy. I thank you, Lord, for this month of February 2021. I thank you for this new digital era. I thank you that we're dominating in this era, that we're advancing in this era, that we're open to learn and open to strategize and open to receive all that you have for us. I thank you for divine intelligence, just as you gave to Daniel, the ability to process information quickly and easily. I thank you, Lord, that we're blessed, that all we put our hands to shall prosper and be of good success. Now, I call forth right now crypto millionaires and crypto billionaires that we will hear and take action steps. We release our faith and take action. We release our faith and take action. Holy Spirit, I thank you now that all that we put our hands to, you'll cause it to prosper and be of good success. And I thank you, Lord, for an articulation for all of these wealth strategies on the earth, that we understand these concepts quickly and easily in Jesus' name, and we are willing to learn and hungry to become master students for the largest wealth transfer that the world has ever seen. Hey, Michael, good to see you on here. So basically, I wanted to go live today. I do a standing leadership call every morning, Monday through Thursday, on a Zoom with amazing leaders from all over the world, actually. And so we've had so many things happening in this Bitcoin space and the cryptocurrency space that I feel a really strong sense of urgency with what's happening. I want to see everybody get educated in this space. Like, it doesn't matter to me if you're in full-time ministry, if you own a restaurant, a food truck, if you're a nail tech, if you do hair, if you're a stylist, if you own a furniture store. I could care less what industry you're in. All industries work through currency, right? Every single industry works through currency. And we have had some developments in our global economy over the last couple of days, literally. This has been going on for a minute, right, Angela? But we can see the momentum is really building, Chef Josh. And now is the time for us to really get serious about positioning ourselves, Davina, so that we can be a part of this wealth transfer. So I've been in this space for the last 5 years, L'Oreal, and I've just seen it blossom and go from one level to the next. And even as I've been studying, I was on a call yesterday. Actually, Angela Pipersburg did a Clubhouse yesterday. It was really good about Bitcoin in the church, and it was so good. And actually, we'll be doing a Clubhouse tomorrow at 5 p.m. Central myself, Dr. Cindy Trim, Dr. China Bethley, my sister Janetta. But today we're going to be doing Clubhouse right after the call today. Okay, so we want you guys to move your guests over there and continue to have this conversation. But one of the guys asked Dr. Kathy. He said, well, what's your Bitcoin address? I don't see it on your profile. I want to send you some Bitcoin. This guy wasn't a part of our trading space already. And in about an hour, she had Bitcoin there. And so I reached out to Curtis and Jason and I said, guys, you know, what do you think about churches now starting to give their Bitcoin address so that, you know, their congregation can give in Bitcoin? They said, yeah, it's private. Like, so if somebody wanted to put it on their website or their social media site, that's where we are. I mean, think about it. I remember when Cash App first came out, you know, I was like, is it cool? Should we have a Cash App for church to give? Now, Cash App is a large percentage of what we receive. So we're seeing all of these digital things really begin to advance and really move faster and faster. And as I was looking at, as I was doing some research yesterday, China, on crypto billionaires and millionaires, I saw this video, Ashley, and it just kind of pierced my heart. And I said, this is why we're staying so aggressive about getting this information out. And basically, they had the top 10 crypto billionaires, and none of them look like me. And I said, I'm changing that. And so literally, we're working on a video right now to put me in there and some other key people in China. There's some other people that I'm like, no, this is going to be the narrative. But we have to educate ourselves and really, really get aggressive about being in this space because the depletion of Bitcoin is real. So just to give you a definition of what cryptocurrency is all cryptocurrency is basically backed by some type of technology, and it solves a problem for humanity. And so I want to really encourage you, you know, whoever invited you on here, I really want to encourage you to reach out to them even now and say, listen, I'm ready to get started. We are literally right now in the first inning of the largest wealth transfer that the world has seen. And I have a great sense of urgency right now. We just got an alert, Shamira, and Picasso said that the next Bitcoin is headed to 52,000 right now. And by summer, we could see $100,000 Bitcoin. We could see a $200,000 Bitcoin. Will it be too late to buy? No, because if Bitcoin goes to 1 million or 1.5, as we're speculating, it's still a lot of room for profit. But I also feel like right now, with it being at 50, I need every man, woman, child, church, I need everyone like aggressively saying, let us move our capital into Bitcoin. And as a church, we just did that literally on Monday. We took $10,000 worth of Bitcoin, $10,000 worth of Ethereum, and purchased it so that we can make sure that we're starting to move some of our capital reserve into that. Because when you start to see, you know, S&P 500s move in this direction, these are things that are definitely, you know, wealth indicators for you. Like, when was the last time we had an opportunity to move before a Tesla or move before an Apple? Because Apple is now getting ready to come on the Bitcoin train, where you can buy and sell Bitcoin through Apple. You can buy and sell Bitcoin. Tesla, not only can you buy your buy your cars with Bitcoin, but Tesla has it where users can actually buy and sell, you know, Bitcoin within that and within the Tesla platform. And somebody said, well, why would you do that if you can go straight to Coinbase? There's some people that are just super tech buffs, and they're going to be like, no, I want to do it through Tesla because it's like a cultural cool thing. And so this is what I wanted to show you. There are a couple things I want to show you that I think are pretty pivotal to help us see why I think we need to all be, you know, moving pretty aggressively. I want to show you this. And again, the only way that we change the narrative is we get educated, and then we really start to move into action. And so that might mean, you know, again, guys, you know, you can buy Bitcoin, and it's not just Bitcoin. I mean, I'm talking about Bitcoin, but there are other altcoins that you really need to get educated on, that you can make a lot of money, you know, in a really short amount of time. And so we got to make sure that we're really positioning ourselves, and also, you know, positioning our people as well. All right, so this okay, let's see. All right. This is some really good stuff out here. Okay, guys, give me a second. Oh, you know what? Let me do this. I was going to show you guys some articles, but I really want to show you the video side. So let me do that. Because it's just always really cool when you can kind of see, and there's tons of social proof out there. And so I literally talked for 15 hours yesterday, talking to pastors. My husband is doing so good with trading. He had a group of pastors on that he was working with, but then I was like, okay, we need to talk to them now about getting their capital reserves over there, because what's happening right now is, of course, Bitcoin is starting to deplete because we have so many people. So it's not like we have this unlimited supply of stuff. My computer was moving a little slow, but it's not like there's an unlimited supply. Okay, there we go. This unlimited supply of stuff, of cryptocurrency or Bitcoin in particularly that they can buy. So for me, I think that I want all of you to really, write down the list of pastors that and reach out to them and say, hey, I really want to talk to you about your capital reserve and what you're doing. Yeah, this is exactly what I was looking for. Come back and share this with you.
Isn't it interesting how much money everyone has? Nowadays in the crypto world where everything is anonymous and no IRS to look into you, it's getting hard to tell. But recently, Forbes unveiled their first list of crypto fat cats. Let's take a look. 10 major cryptocurrency owners and how much they're worth.
StreamYard, I think they must have changed.
We're starting our leaderboard with Galaxy Digital CEO Mike Novogratz. He's known as Wall Street's king of Bitcoin. His estimated current crypto worth is around $700 million to $1 billion. Ninth place. At ninth place,
so what I'm doing is trying to show you this video, but it looks like they changed. Okay, there we go. They always update stuff. Welcome to the world of tech.
Chairman of the Bitcoin Foundation and advisor at Block One, Brock Pierce. At 37 years old, his net worth is at about $700 million to $1 billion. Eighth place. At eighth place is Anthony D'Iorio, co-founder of Ethereum, founder of Jax and Decentral. He has about $750 million to $1 billion in his wallets. He's financially helped the Ether project at very early stages, and later also hired the new law firm, which helped bring Ethereum to life. Seventh place. Seventh place is held by co-founder of Tally Capital, Matthew Rozak. He started out as a tech entrepreneur, but in 2013, he started investing in ICOs of new cryptocurrencies. His worth is estimated at around $900 million to $1 billion. Sixth place. At sixth place is Brian Armstrong. In 2012, when he was just 29, he created the largest and most popular cryptocurrency exchange called Coinbase. His worth is about the same as the guy right behind him, estimated at $900 million to $1 billion. Fifth place, Matthew Mellon, a private investor, the heir to one of the largest banking portfolios in the USA. There are rumors he has a history of drug abuse, so when his family heard about his enthusiasm for cryptocurrencies, they decided it's just another bad habit and made him sell all his Bitcoins. However, later he switched to XRP and invested $2 million. Now he's worth about $900 million to $1 billion. Not bad for a supposed drug addict. Fourth place. In fourth place, the Winklevoss twins. After successfully suing Mark Zuckerberg for $65 million in 2004, they started investing in Bitcoin almost from its first days. Allegedly, they invested around $11 million, and by 2013, claimed to have a total of 1% of all Bitcoins in circulation. Their estimated worth, $900 million to $1.1 billion. The last of the top three, Changpeng Zhao, founder and CEO of Binance cryptocurrency exchange, which in just 180 days became the world's largest platform for trading digital currencies. Yeah, his net worth is estimated from $1.1 to $2 billion. Second place. Our runner-up is Ethereum co-founder and founder of a blockchain company called Consensus. He also used to run a private wealth management division. His name is Joseph Lubin. His Forbes estimated worth is pretty broad, from around $1 billion to up to $5 billion. But the guy is a cryptocurrency billionaire. That we know for sure. And finally, first place, our leader and founder and former CEO of Ripple Labs, Chris Larson. He has a 5.2 billion XRP, so Forbes says this makes him worth about 7 to 8 billion dollars. But since January, the value of all cryptocurrencies took a sudden nosedive. It's probably more like 4 billion now. Still good enough for a firm first place. Curiously enough, Ethereum's main visionary, Vitalik Buterin, fell short of his Ethereum partners. His net worth is only around $400 to $500 million. So now you know who's backing all your new projects. Or who you might want to approach at a cryptocurrency conference and invite for a couple drinks later. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel.
Okay, guys. So, this is what's happening right now. And, all of them, I'm not mad at our white brothers and sisters, but listen, we got to change that narrative. This is like super, super important that we really get our people educated so that we can, make sure that we're representing. Like that part is super, super, super important. And so I just want to make sure that you guys, and we're going to just play a little bit of this. This is Bitcoin Explained with Buffett, Musk, Cuban, Gates, Dalio, and more. Think of cryptocurrencies. Another reason why I want churches to make sure that they're moving in this position because this is where we're headed and we're already there.
If I gave you $25,000 today, what would you do? Pay 2 years off your mortgage, escape the rat.
If you want to know what Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, and other successful entrepreneurs and investors think about Bitcoin, then this video is for you.
If you're a true adventurer and you really want to throw the Hail Mary, you might take 10% and put it in Bitcoin or Ethereum. But if you do that, you've got to pretend you've already lost your money.
I think Bitcoin is probably a good thing.
It's not a currency. I mean, it does not meet the test of a currency. I wouldn't be surprised if it's not around in 10 or 20 years.
What's up, Believe Nation? It's Evan. My one word is believe, and I believe in you. And I believe you have an amazing gift inside you that I want to see explode out into the world and so to help you on your journey.
Now, why was that important? Because now Cuban and Buffett have put millions of dollars in cryptocurrency, right? So these same guys a couple years ago was saying this. And so this is why it's so important for us to make sure, Qualimetrius, that we get the education. And then once we get the education, when in earth has there ever been a time where we could move before a major S&P 500? When? I don't know any other time. I don't know any other time where we could actually have the ability to move with or before even possibly an S&P 500. And today we do. My gosh, that is amazing. All right, check this. Winklevoss twins. Get your pastors on this live, guys.
So today I'm going to actually talk about the Winklevoss twins, or the Winklevi as we know them. And it's weird to me, speaking about the Winklevoss twins. So 10 years ago, I wrote Accidental Billionaires, which became The Social Network. And at the time, I could never have guessed that the people I'd be talking about years later would be the Winklevi. They were the bad guys in the story, right? The big jocks, 6'5", identical twin Olympic rowers. They were the guys I described as if this was an 80s movie, they would be chasing the Karate Kid around the gym in skeleton costumes, right? They were the bad guys to Mark Zuckerberg, who was the good guy in that story. And that's where I thought it was going to go. But things have changed dramatically since then. I want to go back a little bit and tell you how I got to the Winklevi twins. So The Social Network started randomly by an email I got at 2 a.m. from a Harvard senior who said, my best friend founded Facebook and no one's ever heard of him. I had heard of a guy named Mark Zuckerberg, but I'd never heard of anybody else. So I went out for a drink, and in walks Eduardo Saverin. Eduardo looked like Andrew Garfield, like the guy in the movie, except not quite as good looking, and he looked like he'd been kicked a few times. Eduardo was very sad, and he started the conversation by saying, Mark Zuckerberg fucked me. As a journalist, I had to say, tell me more. And he proceeded to tell me this crazy story. Two best friends met in an underground fraternity at Harvard. They weren't good at getting girls. Mark went on a really bad date. After the date, he went home, got drunk, hacked into Harvard's computer servers, pulled up pictures of every girl on campus, and made a website where you could vote on who the hottest girl at Harvard was. He got in trouble, almost got kicked out of school, and caught the attention of the Winklevoss. Now, they were the big jocks on campus. They were the cool kids. They were working on their own website called the Harvard Connection. They had a problem. They didn't have anyone to computer code it. So they hired Mark Zuckerberg to be their nerd. Now, Mark didn't think much of them. He didn't really want into the picture. Eduardo wasn't supposed to be talking to anybody. He had come to me with this Machiavellian plan that by talking to a journalist, he could force Facebook to settle. I didn't find out this till... And I went and met with them, and they told me this incredible story. And it ends right where the social network, it begins right where the social network ends. So they were involved in this settlement with Zuckerberg. It wasn't going well. Zuckerberg didn't want to give them anything. So finally, Cameron Winklevoss said, why don't we just get into a room with Mark? We'll sit down, we're three college kids, we'll talk it out. So they told the lawyers that. The lawyers went to Mark. Then the lawyers came back and said, Mark says okay, but he has some conditions. Shortly after, never to be heard from again, he put on the web a white paper which described a form of virtual money. What that means is money that I can send to you the same way I send a text or an email. Similar to Venmo or PayPal, but there's nothing in between us. There's no bank, there's no government. I can literally send you $1. Now, this is really an innovative idea. The truth is we live in a digital world. All money is already digital. When you go to the bank and you put $100 into the bank, they don't keep $100 in a safe somewhere. It actually turns into ones and zeros instantly and goes digital. So this just cuts out the bank. The value of it is only what we agree it's worth. So if I agree it's worth $1, it's worth $1. This is very similar to gold. Gold actually has no intrinsic value. I mean, it's shiny, right? But that's all it has going for it. We don't really use gold. And so Bitcoin is like gold you can carry around on your phone. So the twins liked this idea a lot. And they liked it so much, they bought 1% of all Bitcoin. They put their money and they bought 200,000 coins at $7 a coin. That's what it was at the time. Then they went around the world and started to promote Bitcoin. Well, something crazy happened in 2013. In 2013, a small island nation called Cyprus went bankrupt. This country is part of the EU, but the EU decided they would not bail them out. So instead, in the middle of the night, the government went to everyone's bank account and took 50% of everyone's money over 100,000 euros. Just took it. So everyone woke up in the morning with half their money. You know, we're all worried about a 2% tax on billionaires. This was a 50% tax on everybody over 100,000 euro. Now, all these rich people in Cyprus realized, I need a form of money that isn't something the government can just take or a bank can just take. So they all turned to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin went from $10 to $100 to $1,000 to $10,000, which is where the Winklevoss twins became worth $2 billion in Bitcoin. Now, the story gets even crazier there because it doesn't end there. The conflict between the Winklevoss and Mark Zuckerberg continues to this day. The Winklevoss launched a company called Gemini. Gemini is an exchange in which you can trade cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. Well, not to be beaten, about 6 months ago, Mark Zuckerberg launches something called Libra. Libra is a form of cryptocurrency like Bitcoin. Now, I think it's way too much of a coincidence that Zuckerberg launches a coin called Libra after the twins launch a company called Gemini. But this just shows you what's going on here and what kind of a person Mark Zuckerberg really is. And so in closing, I feel very strongly that lightning doesn't strike twice. The Winklevoss twins weren't part of two revolutions by accident. They're not just the dumb jocks from the movie. They're not just the guys in the skeleton costumes. So I really feel like with the social network, we got Mark Zuckerberg exactly right, and we got the Winklevoss twins exactly wrong. Thank you.
Okay. So again, the whole purpose of you guys really seeing that video was timing. And the timing now is critically important. Why? Because at Bitcoin sitting at right around 50,000, if churches, individuals begin to get in now, and when it runs to 100,000, they doubled their account, more than doubled. And remember, guys, you can get in at any amount. Now, this is where our financial educational platform is so important, because now we want to make sure that people know how to trade foreign currency, where they can, or cryptocurrency, foreign currency as well, and crypto particularly, where you can make cash every day. And then we want you to know how to accumulate it. That means that you have the ability to buy and hold it, right? When you hold it, it is an asset. So if you buy, let's say $1,000 worth right now, and it's just say $50,000 for the sake of this example, and now it goes to $100,000. Do you know what you just did with your account? You have a six-figure account. You have a six-figure account of over $1,000. Now, let's just say that same Bitcoin goes to 300,000, 500,000. So this is why, for me, I have a tremendous urgency in my heart that everybody needs to move now. See, here's the reality. There were people like China, myself, Camille, the list goes on. We started buying Bitcoin at $3,500. Thank you, Lord. And now our accounts are, sitting very nicely. But what happened to the person who missed that big move, right? It's okay. There's still a chance. But what I don't want to see happen is I don't want us to have another huge run to 100,000. And now we don't even have 50% of the churches in. We don't have 50% of, African Americans in. We don't have 50% of women in. Guys, we cannot sit back and watch this wealth transfer happen and not get involved. It's almost like I liken it to, when Harriet Tubman would go to plantations and she would do her song and she would give her call like, move now. They didn't have those slaves that wanted to go. There may not have been another opportunity for them to come back later. She might not ever go back there again. They had to move in that window, in that time. Otherwise, they may have missed their entire opportunity to come into wealth. And so we want to move, myself and a lot of amazing people on here, we want to move the church out of just living off of, tithe and offering, and get to the point where you can now live off of Bitcoin, because it's super, super, super strong. All right. Now I want you guys to see this. This is pretty strong information. And, again, these are just all the lots of social proof out here right now. And, but we got to just make sure that we're putting our people in our community in positions to really be able to take advantage of what's happening right now. Okay. All right. So, all right, here we go. This is a good one.
It's getting hot in here. These ships are flaming hot. Hey.
By all means, keep going. Ladies flaming hot, now with even more the heat you love.
Let's bring in our own crypto baller, Brian Kelly. He joins us on the fast line. BK, why did Bitcoin go higher on this news?
Well, for exactly the reason that you just mentioned. I think everybody else in the market did that calculation and said there's going to be some percentage of public companies that add Bitcoin to their balance sheet. And, there's a multiplier effect. When you put $1 in, you get multiple dollars in Bitcoin price. So the market calculated that and said, this isn't going to be the only one. This is just really the tip of the spear.
Do you think that this whole notion of Tesla holding this because it's going to accept it as future payment, is that a driver? I mean, you're a Bitcoin baller, but of course you're a stock market guy too. Is that a driver for Tesla, if you will? I mean, Tom Lee had tweeted earlier something to the effect of there's all this Bitcoin being held and there are very few places to spend it at this point. So this is a smart business move for the future.
Yeah, I think, the way I think about Bitcoin is that there's a life cycle to it, right? So we started off kind of in a seed stage, then you went to the growth equity. We're really in the commodity phase of it. And then with this Tesla saying, hey, this is someplace you could spend it, that's going to shift it to that currency phase. And that's when it'll be less speculative. That's when it'll be less volatile. It'll probably be less interesting to a volatility junkie like BK, but it's the maturation of the market. So I think, Tesla doing that is really good. That being said, I think it's multiple years away before you start really seeing Bitcoin being used as a transactional currency.
Hey, BK, it's Tim. Is the next wave of digital coins or tokens coming now? Again, I mean, I'm just curious about the broadening of the market. Very clear, Bitcoin is the standard, but could somebody else emerge to take some of that treasury market that we're talking about with corporate America, or is it going to be all Bitcoin?
Bitcoin's got a heck of a lead, Tim, and this whole game is about network effect. And the bigger you are, the more valuable you become. So at this point, I think Bitcoin's got a pretty good lock on it. That being said, I think of Bitcoin as the reserve asset for a new digital economy. So you think about something like Ethereum. That's being used to build a lot of decentralized fintech type products. CME just launched futures on that today. That's probably what's next here is people start looking and saying, okay, wait a second. I've got Bitcoin as a reserve asset. What do I do with it? I can do all these things in DeFi and fintech, and I'm going to need coins to do that. That's where the other coins come in.
BK, it's Karen. Big fan of your work. Thanks for being on. What about thinking about Bitcoin as it relates to the size of gold as a reserve currency? That hasn't been so much of the argument, but how do you think about that? Should it be the same as gold?
So there's lots of arguments that it could be even a multiple of gold because it's a lot more useful than gold. This is really a currency of the internet. And if you do really have a digital economy grow, it's going to be a lot more valuable than gold. That being said, I always shy away from these huge price predictions just because we've got to get to these other steps. And really, kind of the benchmark is if you're a new product and you can grab 20% of the market share, then you're considered on your way and you're a success and you're a disruptor. Bitcoin is about $600 billion roughly in market cap today. Gold's $10 trillion. So we got to get to $2 trillion in Bitcoin before we even can say that, hey, this is really disrupted gold. For me as a speculator, that's a massive upside, and I'd just be real happy if Bitcoin got to $2 trillion.
I bet you would. BK, good to see you. Thank you. Brian Kelly, BKCM. So, Tim, I'll go to you on your dollar. I say your dollar facetiously. But in terms of the forces driving the dollar lower, if one is to believe that Bitcoin is going to increasingly be adopted by institutions, by S&P 500 companies, I mean, is that yet another force against the dollar?
I think the dollar is largely trading on its own fundamentals here. I don't think the dollar is weaker on the back of whether there's been more focus on digital currencies or gold for that matter. The dollar on an exploding deficit, on the dynamics of where I think policy is, both monetary policy and fiscal policy, really is playing it. And again, sometimes dollar dynamics are very technical. And comparing the dollar to the euro, people probably say no comparison. But Europe, at least runs a current account surplus. And so there's dynamics here that I think will just have the currency trading based upon those fundamentals. It doesn't mean, though, that the weakening dollar and then the inflation dynamics that we are talking about, the result of the weaker dollar, and I think things we're all very concerned of and I think are underestimated in markets right now are reasons why institutions and especially institutional investors say, I have to own some of this because this is a hedge, I think, for financial assets.
Dan?
Yeah, if you think that the U.S. Treasury and the U.S. government is going to let this thing get out of hand, where literally corporates are starting to replace dollars
What can they do at this point?
They can regulate the hell out of it, is what they can do. And we've already seen that. I mean, we've seen it to some extent. I'm just telling you. I mean, they're going to let the dollar fall away from being the reserve currency for the world. So right now, we are in a bit of a euphoric state. I mean, when you think about, what are we talking about here? We're talking about Tesla and we're talking about Bitcoin. These are two risk assets that have gained more than $1 trillion combined in like the.
So guys, I hope that, you know, and I love listening to the arguments, but here's the reality. I've been watching this for 5 years, and some of you have been watching this for 5 years, and you know, you're going to have your people who are like, well, what if this, what if that? Well, all I know is my account is up, and I'm headed to that crypto billionaire video, as I know many of you are on here, because here's the thing, it can't be stopped. Bitcoin does not have a CEO, it does not have a founder, and I'm going to tell you right now, after the stimulus check goes out that President Biden has approved for, I think it's $1.9 billion that's been approved as stimulus checks, you know what that's going to do to the value of the dollar? It's going to go down. What is that going to do to the value of crypto? It's going to go up. It can't be stopped. They've been talking about it. It's a decentralized currency. It's going to continue to remain a decentralized currency. It's already being used to buy real estate. I literally just did a Zoom thing for about 10 mortgage brokers last week, and they were like, we want you to come on and talk to us about Bitcoin because we have so many clients now that are wanting to do deals with closing on real estate. They're taking money, they're buying houses with Bitcoin, right? And they're like, we just want to understand more of how it works. So there's no stopping this train. The train has already left the station and it's wide open. And I just want to make sure that our people, our communities, our churches, our families, this is something we're discussing as a family, almost on a daily. My daughter, Brittany, sent a cryptocurrency that she's been studying, told the family, hey, make sure you buy. All of our children own Bitcoin. My aunt Jeannie is on here. She owns Bitcoin. My sister, I mean, this is serious. Our church now, this is a serious wealth transfer. And this is either going to be in a really amazing time where people really have an opportunity to equal the playing field. Even those of you that have smaller numbers, kudos to you, because it's not just about the big numbers. When you can allow your account to be 1,000x or 2,000x or 3,000x or 5,000x, you'd be surprised. We literally know somebody that bought Bitcoin at its onset for $10 and now has $2.5 million worth of Bitcoin. So guys, listen, it's not going anywhere. So I just wanted to come on here and share this with you guys in 20 minutes on Clubhouse. Follow me, China Bethley, Wanda Webb, my sister Janetta Barnes. Follow us and join in more on the conversation in the next 20 minutes. We will be starting Queens of Cryptocurrency on Clubhouse. I love you guys. I hope this brought some more insight, some more urgency, some more fervency, and added more validity to the narrative that needs to be communicated to anybody and everybody that you love, right? Because again, will it be too late to buy Bitcoin at 100,000? Absolutely not. But dog on it. I don't want to see nobody miss this huge second wave from 50,000 to 100. Yeah, I think it's worth liquidating stuff and buying Bitcoin and Ethereum. I do, but ultimately I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just educating you guys and you have to make your own decision. But I would definitely take action. So for those of you that are invited by somebody on here today, reach out to them right now. We don't have a link for Clubhouse, but just follow me on there and you'll see Queens of Cryptos coming up in 20 minutes. All right, so I love you guys. Thanks so much for joining today. I know this is a ton of value and just reinforce why we're doing what we're doing. So love you guys. Have a good day. Bye. All right, you got an iPhone. Yeah, you know what? It works for Androids now too. Yeah, it works for Androids now too. All right, love you guys. Bye.